This video will show you how to build your first rule using lead nurturing as an example. It assumes that you have already created at least one template, which you will need to reference when you set up the email schedule in the rule editor. Information about how to do that is available under the Templates tab. Some of the main points you will consider here are your strategy, when and over what period of time you want to present your email messages to each lead. Let's keep it simple, just one rule to start. So let's start by selecting the folder and clicking New. Now we're in the one-page rule editor. Enter a rule name that corresponds with your strategy. For example, new leads may be appropriate for a general rule based on leads. Rules have conditions and actions, and they can be read as, when these conditions arise, then execute these actions. You'll notice that there are multiple tabs for the various types of conditions. The first tab, labeled as Salesforce Record, is shown by default. Check the box to indicate that you want to use this type of condition. In other words, based on what happens in the selected Salesforce record. Leads is selected by default. In this lead nurturing example, your strategy may be obvious. Focus then on the questions you need to answer to make sure that your rule dovetails with your business process smoothly and naturally. Questions such as, do I want to consider the lead source? If so, what source of leads should I consider for this rule? Are they coming from a form on my website? Are they being entered into Salesforce manually? Or both? Do I want this rule to cater to all new leads or only a segment of them? In this example, let's choose lead source equals web because we only want this rule to fire for new leads that came from the web form. A rule can be general or more specific. If you want the rule to apply to all new leads, you will define fewer conditions or filters. You need at least one condition. If you want the rule to apply to particular segments, you will add conditions. Later, you can add more rules, each one catering to a specific segment. And after lead source, what other filters should I add? Lead status is a useful field, which is more likely than not an important factor in your business process because you may want to take different actions depending on the lead status. You should think carefully about what lead field you will be using, if not lead status, to govern your business process surrounding leads. So let's choose Open Not Contacted for this rule because we only want to fire this rule for new leads that have not been contacted. So now we have two condition filters for this still general rule, lead source and lead status. That's enough to make it a useful rule. Now on to the rule actions. As with conditions, there are multiple tabs for the various actions that a rule can execute. You have the option of setting up one or more than one action for a rule. To set up a drip sequence of emails, we select the first tab labeled as Send Emails and check the box to indicate that this is an action we want the rule to take. In this particular tab, the action is the whole email sequence, and for this example, we will specify 5 emails spanning a period of 4 weeks, 1 per week. As I said before, you need to have already created all the templates before you can set them up in the rule editor. Select the templates for the first email and leave its associated delay at none, which means no delay after the rule fires. For each successive template, click Add Email Message, select the appropriate template, and set the delay to 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks respectively. That's 5 emails altogether. The delays are based on when the rule fired, so 2 weeks means 2 weeks from the beginning of the sequence. And that is enough to define the rule. Click Save and Next, and you're done. The next step is to test your rule. To see how this works, watch the video on testing a rule.